Next battle is going to be just as exciting, if not more exciting, with this Steel Sapphire mirror match. We're definitely getting ready to start. Both players kind of introducing themselves. I've played against one of these players, Lawrence. I played against him myself. He is a tough competitor, so hopefully we see a nice, fun match coming out of these two, and I can't wait to see something a little bit of a different flavor.
Yeah, and if you're in chat and you missed it, this is going to be a Sapphire Steel mirror match. Blue-gray mirror match. Going to be interesting to see as each other's removal options actually help each other ramp up even more. So, again, every move here is going to be a double-edged sword, which we love to see that kind of action here on stream.
They're going to grab their double-edged swords as much as they can. I know that for a fact.
Yes, absolutely, and experience a whole new world. So let's see what we got here. I really don't know what to expect with this deck, but it's going to be pretty exciting. We see the Bell Strange but Special in Lawrence's hand there.
Full mulligan?
Full mulligan.
Wow, I would have kept that Bell. That's crazy. Okay, very cool.
Yeah, you do want to see her later in the game.
I feel like there's a double-edged sword with seeing her late and then seeing her early, because you want to see 2 or 3 of them late, but one of them early, accelerating
for the double
that
ink.
Yeah,
for sure.
Pretty huge.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's pretty rare you see the full mulligan. It's an interesting choice.
For sure. He knows what he wants out of this deck, and that was not it. This is just a personal thing, because I'm a tattoo guy, but I've been really liking seeing everybody's tattoos and stuff like that.
Yeah,
a lot of cool
sure.
ones out
there today. A lot of
today.
good ink on stream today.
Yeah, a lot of good ink in the inkwell, a lot of good ink on the skin.
I didn't even mean to do that, but you know what? It works, so I'll take it. All right. Not sure 100% who's going first here.
Oh, he's got 2 Hades in that opening hand. Not what you want to see. You want to talk about cards you want to see later in the game. That is one of them. Uninkable. Definitely can't even get that on 4 or so, but it's got some ways to go.
Yeah, absolutely. This is going to be interesting. Going to ink the Bell Strange but Special, and going to throw out a hook and pass turn.
All right. Now, that Captain Hook, I'm going to check real quick and see if he has a shift target. I don't believe he does have a shift target for that Captain Hook, just a small one.
Yes, and looks like... Okay, so it looks like Lawrence does play 2 copies of Big Hook, but Zach plays 0. So it's going to be curious to see which one works better.
Yeah.
Zach only playing 2 Bell Strange but Special.
That makes way more sense why he decided to send it back. Actually, no, that was Lawrence that sent his back. How many is Lawrence using? I believe it's 4 on his deck, so okay.
Yeah, 4 for Lawrence. Yeah, 2, but we saw Zach ink a Bell, so that means he's only going to have access to 1 Bell for the remainder of this game.
Yeah, that's a pretty bold move to ink that one. He must have a different strategy with this deck where he doesn't really rely on the Bell as much, maybe it being a more situational win condition for himself.
So he's going to play the Develop Your Brain, simply just have a slow start, slowly ramp up here. Going to ink the Beast on Lawrence's side for Develop Your Brain. Again, both players taking their time, establishing their board presence. Yeah, you're right. There are some very interesting changes between these 2 lists. Again, I'm seeing more Zach only playing the 2 copies of Beast Hard-Headed while Lawrence plays the full 4. Gonna see.
I don't think Lawrence is playing the Eye of the Fates, and Zach is too. So there's definitely some key differences to this deck and how they want to choose to do it.
It seems that Zach is going a little bit more aggressive, and Lawrence is going a lot more of the more mid-rangey control ramp. Which one is the better option here?
100%.
Going to see the Detective Mickey come out for Zach, accelerating that ink to 4. Again, inking the Prince Eric. Fishbone Quill, a great item for Lawrence here on turn 3. You really want that to add as much ink into your inkwell as possible.
The Fishbone Quill is such a great card because it's not just adding ink into your inkwell, it's adding any card into your inkwell.
Anything. Even on ink. So those Hades, it looks like he is actually going to keep those Hades in hand, which I don't hate because it's just such a good card.
Although he does have that whole new world in hand, it looks like, so he may end up inking at least one of them because it'd be better to ink it than to throw it away, unless he has any way of getting it back from his discard, which I don't think he does.
Yeah, and he's only at 4 ink this turn, which means even if he inks next turn and Fishbone quills one of them, he's still shy to play one out. So you're going to hope for, in that case, probably like I was going to say like a 1 jump ahead or something like that, but I mean, even then you're not going to have the ink to play at that turn. If you want to play the whole new world next turn, you might just end up throwing out that Hades, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately you will, and that sucks because that's such a big card, and that's exactly what he does.
So he's going to use Fishbone to ink. It looks like he actually inked the whole new world.
That's what I'm sorry, yeah.
Was that the second one he drew, though, I think? So
yeah, he does ink one of the whole new worlds, which, I mean, he has 2, so that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to play a whole new world, drawing a second one is probably one of the worst cards you can draw. So
at least he has a way to get rid of it, but normally it just goes away, and it's in the inkwell.
Ink the Tinkerbell here, the baby Tinkerbell. So he's sitting at 6 ink.
Deciding what he wants to do. I think he's going to go ahead and trade, but who with? I don't think, well, not trade, rather, but attack. I would take out the hook in this situation.
See, I see the argument for that, but I would actually take out the Detective Mickey, I think, because you don't die. So,
well, you don't die on the hook either, because he doesn't get his challenger until he is challenging, so he would still be a 1 either way, and I feel like he has a bigger attack.
See, you're thinking good thoughts here. I wasn't even thinking for a second. Yes, that's a good point. You don't die on either of them. So, yeah, I think actually you are right in that case. The hook is more of a threat here, but it looks like he chooses to simply not attack anything. Gonna ink for... that's the danger, right? You got Big Tinkerbell. That's what's gonna make this matchup so interesting is all these massive threats like Big Tinkerbell, grab your sword.
And it's really who has
Hades.
Access to their threats faster.
Yeah, because they're both gonna have them. You know, if he gets out that Hades this turn, that Tink is gone. You know, so
that's a big one. And then he can do it again the next turn, and that may be a let it go in there. I don't know if I saw it.
It looks like he Fishbone quilled away one of the Hades.
That is interesting. He's definitely gonna use that whole new world soon. Then he's probably gonna use the Hades to
for the other Hades. World. Yep, there you go.
Gonna get rid of that Tinkerbell, sending it to the inkwell. Thank goodness it wasn't shifted. That's always rough when you have to do that to a shifted target and you double the add.
Yeah, you get 2 ink for doing nothing. Yep, he is gonna trade into the hook. That Jasmine is still on board, but Hades is kind of keeping that in check, and then Detective Mickey's just kind of useless here. But
yeah, I definitely think that Detective Mickey in this deck isn't as great, but in like things like Sapphire Amethyst, Detective Mickey being able to sing things like Friends on the Other Side, a lot more powerful for sure in that ramp deck.
Yeah, I mean you can't fault anybody for playing it though. It's just pure ramp.
Oh no, it's one of the best cards in the game. Yeah. I personally think that. I think Mickey Mouse is just fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you're in blue, you have him. I think another one that's really underrated is Grandma Tala singing One Jump Ahead. I think that is a huge play and a great way to ramp.
Grandma Tala is like really annoying to deal with no matter what because there's no good answer, you know? Nope. So if you kill her, you're helping your opponent. If you don't kill her, especially if you have one drop threats.
And then there's the backfire Hades. He had one from himself, able to throw it down. That's a huge play. We are just crawling up the lore leaderboard over there with Zach. Now he's currently at 8 lore to Lawrence's 0, so a little bit of slow start coming out of Lawrence out of this first game. Definitely going to have some sort of answer for it soon. He did ink that other Hades, which may be regretting that.
No, I was about to say, yeah, I think he might be regretting inking that Hades here. He has to be close to 10 ink, but that Bell, I mean, he does have a Let It Go in hand, it looks like, so he can at least deal with it that way. But
Hades not only being one of those stronger cards out of Sapphire, but just look at that artwork. I mean, it is fantastic. Really love to see that. One of the better parts of Lorcana is just the amazing artwork coming out of this game. And it's as a new set, it is keeping it coming. Just great stuff. Love to see it.
Hades is one of my favorite villains. Hercules is one of my favorite Disney movies.
Agreed.
So great to see that.
I just watched Hercules the other night with my girl, and it was just, man, still, it's holding up.
It holds up. Good. Yeah, it's such a good movie, man. What do you do here? I think maybe you let it go the Hades. I mean, you kind of have to, right?
Yeah.
But he looks like he does choose to simply put out the Bell.
He's got 5 more. He's probably going to still... Oh, no, he doesn't have 5 more. Sorry, he has 4 more.
But he does have the Bell now, so he can ink again if he has the inkable.
And he can ink again with the Fishbone.
Is that another Hades in his hand?
Is it?
Is that a third Hades?
Or
I might have missaw it, but that would be crazy if that's the case. Let's Let It Go.
Yeah, I can't see that other card. Lawrence is definitely good about keeping his cards concealed.
No, I think that's a whole new world.
I think from earlier that might be the whole new world. Yeah, because
he never did play it. Yeah.
So we'll see.
So Beast Mirror.
That's a great card in this deck because you are going to run out. You want to run out. Oh, and another more ramp, and then he's going to be able to use Beast Mirror. Yep, there's 3. Draw a card. What's he get? The world may never know.
That Bell is questing for 5 now, so you can't just ignore that.
You definitely can't ignore it, but at the same time, I don't know if he has to be afraid of it because right here he openly quests for 5 more lore, putting him at 14, and is able to do that because what's Belle gonna do? Are you gonna lose all her value and throw her into somebody that she can't kill? No, you're gonna definitely quest with her. So he knows that those people are completely safe unless he has answers in hand for them, which with such few cards he can be a little bit more risky, more bold. However, he does have that let it go in hand.
Yeah, and I forget, what is Belle's cost here? Can she sing that Let It Go?
She can't. She's
a 4.
Yeah,
so
she
can't.
To play it.
So he would have to play it manually. Unfortunately, not able to sing there.
He's gonna
ink it and then just maybe play whole new world.
He's gonna play the whole new world out. That's an interesting move. I understand why he did it. It doesn't necessarily feel like the better move to do, though.
Yeah. He'd get rid of a Grab Your Sword, but I think, I don't know, this 14 lore, this might be too little too late.
Yeah, Zach's got a commanding lead right now and very little answers, and he threw away one of the few answers that he did have. I'm seeing a smash and a Grab Your Sword, so definitely potential for not necessarily a board wipe, but pretty close. We could definitely cause a lot of damage, but, you know, Mickey may not be great, but he's got a decent enough size butt to withstand the Grab Your Swords.
Yeah, so what do? I think you grab your sword here manually, then attack into the Hades, trade with the Bell. Pray your opponent goes to 17, or 18, you pray he does nothing. I mean...
Hope your prayers are working pretty good. It's gonna, yeah, that's definitely, it's you could probably stall him for a turn. It's looking pretty close on this one, though. I would say, with it being 38 minutes, I'd look at the clock and say, I got about 3 more minutes to see what happens. But after that, nah, don't waste
Double
more
Grab
time.
Your Sword to be interesting.
Smash a Mickey.
Okay.
That doesn't feel great. I don't know what the next play is, so we'll see. But that doesn't feel very, very valuable for that 3 cost. Able to play another Fishbone Quill and then gonna exert it to put more ink in the well. That's the one thing about this deck. They're
questing for 5.
Very, 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 very dependent and wants to be inking all the time, almost to the point of setting you back a little bit, though.
So I think his thought process there is obviously he has to kill something because he's threatening lethal, right? But he doesn't want to trade into the Hades, so you take out the Mickey Mouse. But now you're gonna go to 19 lore, and then you have to hope your opponent has nothing all game, and you have a removal every time they do get something.
Yeah. That's definitely not... It was more of a move out of desperation, it seems, because there's not much option. Oh, no.
And they hate that.
Yeah, that's a
that is
scoop.
Highly unfortunate.
Yeah, I don't know how you're going to come back from that. That's a tough one.
So it looks like, inking that second Hades with Fishbone was not a good idea, I guess.
It's really hard to get rid of something that is so powerful when your whole point is to get a lot of ink so you can play power cards.
Yep, absolutely.
You know, it doesn't seem like the best play.
That's what makes this matchup so interesting, is every time you think you're doing something to help yourself, you're kind of also helping your opponent.
Yep.
It makes it really hard.
19, and then Lawrence, going to see what he's got as far as options, counting out his ink right now. And he used 5 for a Grab Your Swords. He's going to put some damage on everybody.
What does he have? Triple Grab Your Sword? That would be amazing.
And then a smash to get rid of Jasmine.
Maybe he's just playing it out. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That makes more sense.
Triple Grab Your Sword would be...
I've yet to see that. I can't wait to see it happen one day because it's gonna be brutal. But I definitely think that we'll be watching an Amber Steel song versus somebody at that point. You know what I mean? But very good matchup coming out of these two. Both 2-1 in this here tournament. Now, with the way the tournament's breaking down today, it is a 1K tournament, so we are gonna be giving away a $400 prize to the first place. Second place is gonna get $200. Third and fourth are gonna get $100, and then 5th through 8th are gonna get $50. So quite quite a lot on the line, especially for first, second, third place. First, second, third, and fourth place. And so, and you really, you came out here, you paid an entry fee, you really want to get top 8. So these players are really, really, really wanting this next matchup to go good, and they are putting a lot of effort into it. And so I can't wait to see how Lawrence comes back on the second round.
I have to agree. And it turns out that I would have assumed that the Bell Strange but Special playing only 2 copies and the Beast Hard-Headed only playing 2 copies would have came back to bite Zach a little bit, but it actually turned out not to be much of an issue at all. And the Bell is really only strong when you are comfortable on the board.
Yeah.
And if your Hades aren't putting in work when they're supposed to, again, drawing those 2 Hades at the very beginning of the game is a very hard thing to come back from.
100%.
I don't know if that full hand mulligan was a good choice on Lawrence's part there, but I guess we shall see how this second game goes. Keeping the big tank here, I don't know.
Taking your whole hand, like at least when you mulligan, you can kind of choose some stuff. Taking the whole thing and just putting it 100% back up to chance is super bold, super risky, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Looks like he's going to keep the Prince Eric and the Fishbone Quill and the Whole New World.
It seems like he has a certain line he is trying to achieve, and he may not have many other options as far as outside of that gameplay, because he seems to be mulliganing pretty heavy for certain things.
For sure.
And he seems to definitely want a strategy to be played out a certain way, and I'm curious if he can against the mirror match, if he's ready for certain things like that, because with this deck you probably play the mirror a little bit less than some of the other matchups.
Yeah, I would have to say, putting myself, I don't play Sapphire a ton, but putting myself in the seat of somebody playing this deck against a mirror match, I don't even know what you do, because again, the fact that everything you do helps your opponent.
Yeah.
If you fall behind, it's really hard to come back.
Yeah.
If everything you're doing is helping your opponent.
Yeah.
That is the problem with Sapphire's removal, right? You're giving your opponent something for nothing. Now, again, when you remove a Surfer Stitch or a Rapunzel with a Hades, that's 100% worth it.
Yeah.
But when you're playing against a deck that's going to just play 2 Hades against you the next turn, a little bit of a different story.
When I first saw the Let It Go card, I thought that it was going to take the character and put it into your Inkwell, and I thought that card was amazing. And then when I realized you had to put it into their Inkwell, I was like, I don't know how I feel about this card. So it definitely makes a big difference on how you play that. Now, he's able to develop his brain on the first turn. He's going to ink the Grandma Tala on the second turn to play Grandma Tala.
That card is so good.
So good. She wanted to be in the Inkwell, so we put her there. But then he was like, you know what? I got a couple of you. You can help me out. Do the whole grandma thing. Give me some good stuff for Christmas.
She can give you a nice little Christmas present with a couple lore that really starts to add up. It's like, okay, go ahead, kill her. I dare you to kill her.
Yeah, take her out. I would like that. Not in a mean way. We love you, Grandma.
Yeah.
I definitely think, though, that the one jump ahead and then Mickey on turn 3, singing the one jump ahead, playing the Mickey turn 3. If you develop your brain, you're doing everything to do the good ramp. I mean, you're at 5 ink on turn 4. I mean, that's big. And then you ink again turn 4. Your 6 ink. You're being able to play your Hades on turn 5, and that's the best thing you can do to stop whatever's going on the other side of the table.
Absolutely. And the thing is, Hades is additionally scary because he quests for 2 and he has 6 willpower. So if he's left unchecked, that's just gonna let you steamroll right to the end there. Again, Grab Your Sword doesn't deal with him super well. Smash is really your only option there, but again, getting sometimes the 3 ink when you're playing characters that cost so much, right? Because you have all this ramp, you're gonna run out of ink still sometimes, and making those choices about what you get rid of with Fishbone Quill. It's just a very tricky deck to play overall.
100%, because it can seem so tempting in the beginning. You're like, I don't really need this right now, but you're like, oh crap, I actually probably would have held on to that if I didn't have this Fishbone Quill kind of eating up my stuff. So it's helpful, but I think that if you're not pairing the Fishbone Quill exclusively with Whole New World and trying to run that engine, I don't know if it has as much value. Both players are actually running the Fishbone right now, though, so, I mean, we're going to see it right now how it plays out. I think, though, that the Lawrence, definitely much stronger start to this one. Small bodies on the board, but still bodies on the board in comparison.
Yeah, this is a very interesting start because it reminds me a lot with how the first game started.
Oh, and there's the Tinkerbell, which is definitely going to hurt because that clears the the Aurora, and then it puts a damage on his heavier hitters. So they're definitely going to go out no matter whatever they swing into.
That is especially relevant for the Prince Eric, since that 2 damage from swords or 2 damage from Tinkerbell now puts him in range to be killed.
Yeah.
And Prince Eric's a pretty decent check. I mean, a 3/3 while attacking is no joke, and especially one that costs so little ink.
100%.
So it's really going to come down to, I think, here, whoever can get those huge threats first, right?
Yeah.
Both are kind of in top deck mode, it looks like a little bit. Those develop your brains not 100% working out. Zach has a little bit more card advantage, but Lawrence, he's really kind of stalling out here a little bit. Hopefully he can draw something good.
And that's the thing that I don't understand about the Fishbone Quill is you're so committed to over-inking almost that you leave yourself depleted of any ability to do stuff. You really depend on the top deck. And that's a scary place to be because you just have no control.
Now, I could have sworn that Lawrence kept a whole new world, so did he just Fishbone it away? If he did that, I think that might be a misplay because that's really a great answer once you ink away all your things.
Yeah.
Just get a fresh new hand and play out your Hades and all your big threats, your bells, and that's how you really get back in there.
Yeah, if you're gonna play Inkwell or the Fishbone Quill, you have to lean into it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're kind of like putting yourself at a disadvantage. And if he got rid of the whole new world, I sure hope not. I really sure hope not.
So they grab your sword again, being relevant, like I mentioned. Prince Eric and Hook going away there.
Mickey only have 1 damage. I'm not sure if that's a miss or...
Yeah, there should be 2 if he did play that swords. But...
Okay. Hopefully that doesn't cause any kind of issue. Gonna go ahead and ink the small Tink. And then we're gonna play the big Tink. The trade, the Tink for Tink.
Yes.
And now... And it can't, because he's not shifted, so he's going to have to dry that Tink first, and then he's going to pass the turn over to Zach.
That 1 damage on that Tink is actually very relevant, because now an attack from Tinkerbell will kill.
And the fact that it didn't come out, the other Tinkerbell didn't come out, it means that Lawrence's Tinkerbell is going to be the one that survives, and I think that, again, huge. Interesting.
So we have a bell that's going to allow him to ink these last couple of cards, and then... The thing is, once he starts questing for 5, that's really powerful, right? But then this big Tink is kind of putting him in check, and he can't really attack back with his own big Tinkerbell because of that 1 damage. So really, I mean, maybe you hope for a chance to attack into Detective Mickey, but is your opponent really going to give you that? And he draws a smash off the top here.
That's pretty good. That's pretty important because now he's able to, if he can just get that Tinkerbell vulnerable, he could take out the bell as well with the extra damage and the smash. But that Tinkerbell not doing anything really kind of stalls him out even further. Right now, looks like we have Zach at 2 and Lawrence at 0 lore. So, I mean, they're really trying to be the first one to establish that board presence, that dominance before they make any kind of like real move. So very methodical on their playment here on this second round.
Big Tink singing, grab your sword here for Lawrence. Looks like Zach's at 8 ink in the Inkwell, so he needs 2 more in order for Bell to do anything super relevant. Gonna smash away that Dig Tink. And now you cannot comfortably quest with this Bell, even if you get to 10 ink, because you're at 2 damage. Even if you don't necessarily think that he would attack you for some reason, a lot of things in Steel deal 2 damage. Smash, grab your sword, Tinkerbell killing something else.
Yeah, him being able to take out that Tinkerbell was definitely a huge play. Is going to have full 10 ink now for Belle to be at her maximum efficiency, but just again, like you said, not being able to really comfortably use it, because yes, 5 lore is fantastic, but 10 lore, 15 lore, a lot more fantastic. So you definitely want to use her to where you're not just going to use her and be done right away.
So he draws off Beast Mirror. Does Lawrence have any cards in hand? I don't think he does. I think that Smash and that Grab Your Sword were the last cards he had. So if Zach has a way to deal with this big Tinkerbell, that Bell is like really strong.
And then Grab Your Sword, so he's got a little bit, so he's got some answer.
Not enough though, because Bell only attacking for 2. That is going to put Tink at 3 toughness.
Would you really want to waste the bell on a Tink trade at that point. It doesn't even seem valuable, even if she had the attack to take him out. You put so much effort. You know, you raised her up to be this, you know, this great princess.
Is that 3 damage? Did we forget to put a damage counter on for Big Tink? Because I mean, maybe then you do quest, because if you attack in, you know what I mean? Like, if he's 2 away, maybe
I think he's 3 damage because he just threw the bell at her. He just put the bell into the Tink and sacrificed her, even though it wasn't going to kill the Tink.
It is Lawrence's turn. Lawrence attacked into the bell. Oh wait, no, it's not.
She wasn't. He
wasn't exerted. Yeah. Oh, that's an interesting.
And then he,
grabs your sword.
He just top decked to grab the sword, or no, he had it. Okay, because he's now.
I missed something because I'm a little confused here. I'll be honest with you, but.
So I believe what happened is he had the grab your swords in hand. He used the bell to take out a Tinkerbell just to get her to 3 damage, and then he used the grab your swords. I believe is what he's using the grab your swords to take out the Tinkerbell, but the Tinkerbell is still on the field. Oh, okay. I think I know what's happening right now.
I think they're using dice.
He's going in reverse order. So
those are not damage counters. Yeah, that is his remaining willpower.
Yes, okay.
That's the confusion. Interesting choice. I've never seen that before, but okay.
That makes sense, I guess.
The confusion is cleared.
All right. Sorry about that, everyone. So he's got 1 HP left, and now he has 0 HP left. So
I was going to say, that was a very odd choice to, like, kind of sacrifice your bell like that without killing the Tink, but now I understand where.
Yeah.
So, okay.
That was interesting.
Yeah, okay, so now that makes so much more sense.
Yeah.
We solved the puzzle there. Cracked the Da Vinci Code.
He's going to ink the smash and then do what? What's he got in his hand?
He has 1 card in hand. He has nothing on board. It's a lot of ink, though. Well, that's probably the best card you could have drawn.
You needed that. You definitely needed that one. I don't think that Zach is unhappy about that. I don't think he had much in his hand to begin with, so it definitely helps both out. But Lawrence, I mean, with that way that his deck works, 100% needs that to finish this game out. Plus, he has a 9 lore lead right now. It's looking like it's in his favor. With only 25 minutes or 23 minutes left in the round, he's definitely going to want to put the foot to the gas pedal on this one and try to get this next round started.
And I could have sworn I saw at least 1, if not 2, Bells Strange, but is that 3 Bells Strange but specials and a Hades in hand. So I'm gonna just go ahead and say that's a very good hand.
That's a really good. He's got lethal on board next turn by at least 1 with no removal. That will be the turn.
Yeah, and then next turn he just simply Hades away any threats that are relevant, and I don't know.
You double bell right here. I feel like that's the play for sure.
Absolutely. I think the Big Tink's not going to do anything to you in the meantime. I think we might be seeing a game 3 here.
It's looking likely. Lawrence put a really great game out. And that whole new world. I don't think that whole new world could have given a better hand if he picked it out himself. Because 3 bells and a Hades, dude, you got it covered. You got so much ink. The only thing is, does he have the full 10 ink in his inkwell? Because if he doesn't have the full 10 ink yet, then it's not as good. But I believe he has all 10. And he does have the double fishbone quill. So, I mean, realistically, if he needed to ink a bell to put the other 2 bells out, that's value. I'd do it all day.
I'd be shocked if he wasn't at 10 already.
Yeah.
So it looks like Zach is going to quest with the Tinkerbell. Go to 6 and then just...
He does have a ton of lore on the board, though. So that's going to put him at, 6, I believe. And that's going to put him at...
9 on board.
Yeah,
so
not quite lethal.
15. Yeah, it's not going to be quite enough unless he has Hades of his own to get rid of those bells.
4. Oh, that's a bell. Do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, that's a bell.
He does have the 2 fishbone quills, so he has 2 ink.
At this point, I'd keep my ammunition over the ink. It just seems like a better play. You got so much good in your hand.
Yeah. God, that is kind of terrifying if you're in Zach's position.
100%. Because you have to have answers. And this is a double grab your sword moment if I've ever seen it. And if we see another double grab your sword moment, completely shift the game, I might freak out.
Yeah.
Like that's, really, that's...
That would be unparalleled craziness.
He's got one pile of 6. Let's count it out.
He has to have something of that
7.
caliber because if he it's not
That's
Hades.
a Hades. Yep.
Hades coming out, gonna get rid of one of them.
That's good. So lethal's off the board. That's important. Does he have a let it go? That's another thing. I forget with Sapphire. He does have a couple more answers. 4. So not gonna play let it go. Maybe he still sings it though. Oh, a Mickey. Interesting. So only got 1 ink left on this turn. Gonna use it to play a Captain Hook. Impressive board state out of Zach. Just you count him out for a second, and then he's like, "Wait a minute, hold on a second. I got a couple answers up my sleeve."
He has 13 lore on board, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's not quite threatening
6,
lethal.
7, 9. He's gonna go 9 up on lore. He's gonna put himself at 13, and then he will be at lethal for next turn at that point. So that's a good play coming out of Zach because now Lawrence is have to be on the offensive, and it might not go to a game 3. It might just be a 2-0 from Zach.
That is quite the crazy turn there. I mean, you see 3 strange but specials and a Hades, and you're like, it has to be good.
It's got to be, right? It's so good.
Yeah, I mean, what do you
Hades,
do?
okay, so you got Hades. You get rid of Maleficence. That's -3. So you still
got
have
10 lore on board. You got to get rid of something else.
Another bell. Okay, so we got the other bell out.
That's game. I mean, you have no cards in hand. What an end to this series, man.
I don't think that he's gonna. Yep, he's gonna have just quest it out, and that's gonna be it. The slow tap. He knows it's all over. Pass it.
That is unfortunate for.
That was such
Lawrence,
a good play, though.
What a comeback for Zach there at the end. Wow.
Great
what an
game.
end to that round, man.
Yeah. You know, I knew it was going to be interesting watching the mirror match, and it was exactly that. I love seeing the different play style coming out because you change one color, you go from amber steel to sapphire steel, and the whole deck is just a different way of playing.